So you think you can just fuck my dancer and get away with that?
Previously on All the Queen's Men.
Time! No! Don't open it!
Did you move when she saw you?
This is Jack Watson. He's running for mayor.
What's good, everybody? It's your girl, Tika Deshawn. Thank you all so much for tapping in and tuning in to All Things Ruthless, home of the Ruthless Addicts. Let's dive into All the Queen's Men, Season 3, Episode 8, Never Bluff, and this is a recap. Davis uses her intel as leverage with Madam, Champ, and Trouble take matters into their own hands as Rayshawn recovers his money from Tandy, and Fernando reveals a sinister plan. All right, y'all. So let's get into it. When we last saw Madam, she looked as if she was having a panic attack. Something was going on. Fernando had basically threatened her father. So Madam still has to steal someone's car because she doesn't have time to wait for her car to be pulled around. She's still someone who's driving by a car, and she ends up going really fast. Now Tommy really gets in the car with Madam, and it becomes just what I expected, a police chase, because the police see that Madam is driving erratically. She's driving on the sidewalks, trying to hurry up and get to her father. And then the police began to follow not just Madam, but also Joey, because I was wondering where the heck was Joey that the police would be able to follow Madam. But again, they still were able to follow not just Joey, but Madam as well. So Joey is in the truck with Blue, and Tommy is in the vehicle with Madam. While Blue is looking at looking at Joey, she's kind of questioning him, like, his basically still questioning Joey. Nobody really trusts Joey. So Joey asks Blue, well, like, what's going on? What happened? And so Blue tells him, well, she's heading to the nursing home where her father is because Fernando threatened her father. Don't you have a man in there on it? He said, yeah, I have somebody in there on it, but nobody has contacted me. So basically nobody has let Joey, quote unquote, know that something is going on at the nursing home. And then we see Madam, she makes her way to where the nursing home is. She tells Tommy, go get rid of this car. And she walks in, literally rushes into the nursing home. Now, of course, Joey and Blue pull up where Tommy is. And they say that, hey, why did you let her go in there by herself? And he, Tommy's just at the point where he's going to do whatever Madam tells him to do. He's got to get rid of the car, or the police are going to, track that car right back to Madam. So then we see Madam in the nursing home. And of course, Blue and Joey make their way behind Madam. They make their way into her father's room. Now, mind you, father is still pretending to have Alzheimer's and all that other stuff. And of course, he can't, speak in front of Blue and Joey. He has to continue to pretend. So again, finally, Madam tells, Blue to, step outside. Let me talk to my father. Cause Madam is like, let me just take him home. I want to take him home. But then Blue is like, well, how can you take care of him, Madam? You're going to be at the club. So on and so forth. My thing is this, Madam, if you really wanted to take your daddy home, you could have took your daddy home and you would have found a way to protect him. You would have found somebody that could be his in-home nurse. There's a will. Where there is a will, there is a way. So anyway, Papa Cadillac wakes up and he lets Madam know, look, don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. I got this. And so he snatches the pillows and the blankets from off the bed and shows Madam, I'm good. Like, no matter what, I'm good. Don't worry about me. But at the end of the day, I don't like the look that's on your face. You need to be able to function and not focus or be concerned that something is going to happen to me. So then we see Detective Davis, and there's this what looks like a bum or a homeless person that keeps like tapping her, trying to get her attention, throwing things at her. So finally she decides she's going to arrest this individual. So when she does arrest him, she places him in her car and realizes it's Casanova. So she's like, what the heck is going on? And he explains to her that he has an informant inside. So now we do know that Big D is not a police. He's just the informant. that was brought to, because he wanted to work the Club Eden. He wanted to work at Club Eden. It kind of all worked out that Blue actually hired him. And so I don't know if Casanova should really trust Davis, because we know Davis is trying to quote unquote get in good with Madam, or is she? I always say that because you never know anybody's real intentions on this show. So then again, he's telling her, I couldn't call you. I don't have a phone. They beat me up. Well, how did you get away? She said that he said that the informant pretended to unalive me, and he used blanks. So, and she said, well, I don't believe Madam would be dumb enough to believe that. She was like, no, not Madam. Her dumb behind security guard talking about Tommy. So, that explains how he was able to come out of this whole thing alive, other than with a few broken ribs, because they did beat him up, but they did pretend to unalive him with the blicky, and that explains it all. There were blanks in the blicky that Big D used. So I don't know if Casanova can even trust Detective Davis, because we don't know if she's sincerely still trying to get in with Madam, or if she's still sincerely in with the police. But anyway, then we see that Davis gets a call, and she has to go and basically go check on somebody named Thomas Foreman. Now, shout out to Tommy for being named after two boxing legends, Thomas Hearns and George Foreman. Y'all make sure y'all remember that, because I will be dropping this quiz question again, okay? But anyway, you guys, so she makes her way over to the scene, because the police have pulled over Tommy from driving, and then he said that the police officer said he had refused to take the alcohol screening. And so Davis pulls up on that scene, and she basically gets Tommy out of that situation. And of course, again, Madam is still not trusting Detective Davis. But when Madam returns to her office, Tommy and Detective Davis are already there in her office. So then Madam gives Detective Davis this big stack of money. But not only does she give her this big stack of money, she also gives her the one and only DLC again, and lets him know, hey, she's got money to pay you, she's got money to tip you, so on and so forth. So then, of course, Tommy and Blue walk back in the office with Madam, and they asking her, do you really trust that? And, Madam says, she has information for me. I don't trust it. We'll just see. So when Doc and Detective Davis go into the VIP room, Doc lets Detective Davis know, look, the only way you can really, really get in good with her is you've got to give, and eventually she'll give back to you, or eventually she will trust you. So with that, y'all, Detective Davis is able to take another ride on the DOC side. She got it in one more time with Doc, because, she thinks that Madam, of course, is trying to get images of her with different strippers, or with the strippers at the club, so on and so forth, so it can kind of smear her reputation. At this point, do you guys think, drop your comments below, do you guys think that Detective Davis is too far gone and is really not giving a darn about her job anymore? Or is she really, really still trying to trap Madam by pretending that she's all in with the shenanigans that Madam keeps throwing her way, such as the money, such as Doc? So then we see these three fellas, and of course, now earlier these guys were supposed to be dancing on the stage. That is Trouble, Rayshawn, and Champ. In the midst of that, Champ is telling Rayshawn, look, draw me a map of this house. And so this man said he only worked with construction paper and glue. So he's asking everybody, do you have some construction paper and some glue and some scissors? Like, really, Rayshawn? Like, at this point, bro, you need to be focused on how you gonna get the tandies. So anyway, we see the fellas, they have tipped out, and then they make their way outside, and they're talking amongst themselves, and Trouble pulls out a blicky and gives it to Rayshawn. Now, Rayshawn is like, I don't even know how to use this. And she tells Rayshawn, look, you don't have to know how to use it, just because we're going to be there to, basically to have your back. So they make their way over to the Tandies. But before we see that, we also see Big D trying to talk to trying to talk to Dime, but Dime is just not hearing it. Dime is just in the zone of, I'm not talking to any more strippers. I'm not fooling with none of y'all. Between you and Amp, both of y'all are working my nerves. I've seen you unalive somebody or seen a body in your truck, and you had the nerve to drive me around with that body in the truck. So Dime is just kind of thrown off and doesn't really want to deal with neither Amp nor Big D. So then we see Doc. He has made his way. He's done from the boom boom room with Detective Davis, and he stops over and talks to Madam and tells, just lets Madam know that she's saying that she has some important information that she wants to give you. And Madam, and he's like, but do you even trust that? And of course, Madam don't trust it. She lets him know, no, I don't really trust it. I'm just going to see what she's about. So then Blue receives a phone call from the one and only Fernando. And of course, he is at her home. But before we get to what happens at her home, we see that the triple threat have made their way to the Tandys. Now, Rayshawn walks into the home of Tandy and her husband. And of course, they're dressed in their lingerie and just sitting there as comfortable as they think they're supposed to be, and just acting as if all is okay with Rayshawn. And Rayshawn is just like, just give me my money. I'm here for my money. That's all I want. I want nothing else from you guys. Just give me my money. I'll sign the papers and I can move on with my life, and y'all can move on with your life, and y'all don't have to worry about me saying anything else. But then they continue to try to get Rayshawn to comply with their disgusting sexual favors. So these two muscle-bound dudes in black leather straps and everything else walk up on Rayshawn, and Rayshawn pulls out the blicky. It's like, no, I'm not doing this. Y'all not messing with me, and just get out of my face. So they basically end up running out. But then as they're running out, in walks Trouble and Champ with their blickies pointed at the couple, and Trouble ain't no joke. She popped Tandy across the face. It's like, get the money, put the money in the bag. And then they're like, I know they got money in the safe. Let's get the money out the safe. So they leave Rayshawn with disgusting Tandy's husband. And unfortunately, he takes the blicky from Rayshawn. Again, Rayshawn was pointing that weapon at him, but he takes the blicky from Rayshawn. So Rayshawn is like, at first he's still emotional because of the fact that this dude they literally violated the crap out of him. So as this guy is turning his back, Rayshawn picks up one of those fire picks that they use in the fireplace and begin to well old boy over the head. He hits him multiple times until he is on the ground, and Rayshawn, he's standing over the body and begins to hit him so much that you can see the blizzy on Rayshawn's shirt, y'all. So Rayshawn got his revenge. I don't know what's gonna happen after this. We moved on to seeing Blue at her home, and she's also there with Tommy. Now, old boy says, I told you to come alone, but of course Blue ain't going to, she's not gonna go to the home by herself. So behind Fernando is Tommy, and Tommy, he's not saying anything. He's just standing there with his weapon, and then Blue hits Fernando in the face. So then at that point, then the one and only Madam and Joey walk into the house. But y'all, guess what? Y'all been talking about it. We've been talking about it. We've been questioning it. Joey is working for the concierge. We find out that Joey is working with Fernando as well as concierge. And he ends up taking Tommy's weapon and pointing it at Madam. Now, Joey, if you've survived this, you've literally made the mistake of your life. So anyway, so it's weapons face, it's Blicky's facing Joey, and Joey got Blicky's facing Madam, as well as Blue and Tommy. And so then Fernando he's just talking this talk, but then he shows Madam this controller that he has in his hand, and lets Madam know, if you look at the screen, you'll see your father and her father is there screaming. Now I'm like, how did he get to his father so fast? But anything is possible, because we now know that Joey is working for concierge. So anyway, Madam says basically she tells him the story about how she doesn't care and how her father let him know that, you know, not to care about anybody, even him, even her own father. And so then Madam tells Tommy to hold his hand. She tells Tommy to hold Fernando's hand. He holds his hand down, and Madam, she does some crazy shenanigans, y'all. She sticks a B-O-M-B in this man's mouth, and then she has Tommy put his hand down on the table, and she dismembers his hand. Okay, now of course with that pain you're gonna want to breathe out, so he took a breath, and the B-O-M-B fell out of his mouth and it went off. Now Joey is seen running in that back room, so I don't know if that device got him, but it definitely was close enough to Fernando. So I don't know if Fernando is unalive, but again, that device was definitely close enough to do some damage to him. And y'all, that was the end of the episode. I don't know, it looks as if this is a mid-season finale. I hope it isn't, but it looks like it is. 8 episodes in, and that's all we got for All the Queen's Men, you guys. What were your thoughts on all of the episodes? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll do my best to create a video to respond to just about all your comments. It was fun, and I enjoyed this episode. So let me know your thoughts. If you're finding me for the very first time, new to my channel, hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so that you can receive reminders of new Ruthless content. And make sure you come back on Sunday, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Virtual Club Eating with me and your girl, EJ the TV Junkie, and our friends, okay? All right, y'all. That's about it. Thank you so much. And you already know, stay dangerous.